Hi everyone, Nicholas Buffett is here from sunny Cyprus and welcome to today's tutorial. Now I've managed to dig out another past paper 2. This is the specimen paper for 2023, paper 2. And remember, the specimen paper is not a paper which students will take as an examination. It is a sample paper for when the syllabus changes. So I've had a quick look at the question paper. As always, it's a very packed paper. It's a classic paper 2 where you've got word processing, databases, presentation, charts. There's a lot of work to do. So I'm going to be working through this paper quickly, but at the same time, I'm going to be showing you other techniques, different ways of doing things, and doing a little bit more than probably what the paper asks, just to show you all the techniques, or as many of the techniques you're required to know when you're doing a paper 2. Now, I do work through these quite quickly. So as always, if you do see me make a small mistake somewhere, make sure you call me out on it, because it just means you're paying attention. And I really like it when you find those little details that I might have missed. And I will probably miss one or two today as well. So long paper, let's get started. First of all, let's start with the question paper. So if we go to here, we can see we've been supplied with the following source files. Those are the files. We need to make sure that we have those source files. So let's just have a quick look. Just double check and make sure you've got all the source files as per the question paper. Then it says you work for a company called Tawara Yacht Brokers who buy and sell luxury boats. You're going to perform some clerical tasks for this company. Task 1. Open the file SPO2 evidence RTF. Make sure that your name, center number, and candidate number will appear on every page of this document. Save this evidence document in your work area as SPO2 evidence, followed by your candidate number. For example, this. You will need to place screenshots in this document of the evidence you are instructed to produce. Okay, so let's begin. So first step here is to open the evidence file here. We just drag this up. Was opening on the wrong screen? There we go. Now, next step, I'm going to save this straight away. So file, save as. Remember, you must always save things in the format of the application you're using. So I'm using Word, and I want this to be called SPO2 evidence, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, save. It says that I need to make sure my name, center number, candidate number will appear on every page. I'm just going to put this on the top in the header. It doesn't say where, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, and I'm just going to do a quick save and minimize that so I can come back to my paper as I'm working. All right, let's move on. Task 1 done. Task 2. You're going to edit a report for Tawara Yacht Brokers. The company uses a corporate house style for all their documents. Paragraph styles must be created and applied as instructed. Using a suitable software package, open that file there. The page setup is set to A4. Orientation with 2 centimeter margins. Do not make any changes to these settings. So I need to double check those are there and they're correct, but I don't change them. Save the document in your work area with the file name broker. Make sure, let's just highlight that, make sure it is saved in the format of the software you're using. Placing your evidence document a screenshot to show this file has been saved. Make sure there is evidence of the file type. Okay, so let's jump back. So next step is I'm going to open up this SP user file. Let's just make a bit more space there. Okay, so my SP user file or super file, that one there, correct? Yep. So let's double click open that. First thing I'm going to do is save this. Always save first. Save as, docx, and this is going to be broker with all capital letters. And no, that's it, just broker. There we go. Next step, I'm going to check the formatting it's told me about. So I'm just going to go to layout, page setup, and just make sure everything is as it says it is. So the margins are 2 centimeters as it said. The paper is A4. Okay, great, that's all there. So I just need to take a screenshot to show evidence of my file type. So from here, I'm going to just open up my snipping tool. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a screenshot. Now notice that I've hidden my Windows Explorer here. They don't need to see any other files that I've got open, so you can actually remove it. I need to make sure that this here is visible, the folder where I've got all my files. And I also need to make sure, and you can see this is a bad screenshot because a lot of my types are chopped off and I want those to be visible. It doesn't matter whether you show the extensions, I still want the file type to be visible. So I'm just going to adjust that and just make my file types a little bit bigger to make sure it shows everything. Let's get rid of the preview. And there we go. And I'm going to take that as a screenshot. And as always, I'm going to say it again, try to avoid using dark mode. It doesn't print well. You can use it. It's not a problem. I had some of you ask whether you can use it or not. You can, but just make sure in your printout, it's clearly visible. What you have to show is there and it's visible. If it is, that's fine. So click on save. Oh, no, redo. There we go. Save. And now I can move on with my document. Okay, so I've done that. Oh, I get 1 mark for that. Now, place in the footer of the broker file, automated page numbers left aligned, your name, center number, and candidate number right aligned. Make sure that all the alignments match the page margins. No other text is included in the header and the footer area. The footer is displayed on all pages. Okay. So this no other text, I'll explain to you why they put that now. So I need to go to in the footer. So I'm just going to go to the bottom of the page, double click. Now I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do this. The first way is this. So I want to put my page number in the footer. As soon as you open the footer, you can see the header and footer ribbon here. And from here, you can go to page number and always use this, use the current position because it shows basically put the page number wherever your insertion point is. So it's on the left. That's where I want it. Put my number there. Now I want my details on the right hand side. Please don't use the tab button. Please don't use the space button. In the header and footer, you can go to insert alignment tab, click on right, and then from here, if you click on OK, your insertion point comes to the right, and you can add your details there. So I would add the rest. Here's the second way of doing this. So I'm just going to undo that. The second way of doing this is this. You can go to the footer and choose this one here, which shows you 3 columns. And you've got 3 placeholders here. So in this first placeholder, I'm going to select it. I'm going to put my page number, current position, there. Over here, I'm going to put my details. Okay. Now, when they say no other text should be displayed, it's this placeholder here. If I come out of this, that type here is still visible. It shouldn't be. You need to get rid of it. So I'm just going to double click there to select it and press delete. And there you go. I've got my page number on the left. I've got my details on the right. Perfectly aligned with the margins of the page. Double click in the main document and we're out of the footer. Great. Let's move on. Now it says here, create and store the following styles, basing each on the default paragraph style. So here are the paragraph styles. Take a screenshot to show that you have defined the settings for the TY subhead style. Make sure there is evidence that you have based this on the default paragraph style. Place this in your evidence document. So I wanted to highlight that. All right, so I want to tell you a little bit about creating styles because it causes quite a bit of confusion. So here's the trick. Before you start creating styles or modifying styles, always see where your insertion point is. I always use this rule. I move to the top and go to the first paragraph and click inside. Why? If you can see, if I click on this title, this is already modified as TY title. So it's already got that style there. If I click inside this paragraph here, it selects TY body. It basically means this text here has got the style TY body. As soon as I start creating a new style, it's going to base the style based on whichever one you've got selected, and that is where your insertion point is. And as soon as you create the style, it's going to apply the style to the paragraph wherever your insertion point is. In other words, my insertion point is here. It's going to apply it here. And that causes confusion. Students don't know why. And it's even worse if it's in the middle and you don't actually see. So let's say my insertion point is here and I'm working on the styles here. I don't actually see that these things here down here are changing. So always click somewhere at the top where you can see the style and make a note of what style is being used currently in that paragraph that you've clicked on. So I know this is TY body. So now I'm going to go and create my style. Click on the styles button here. This is my styles manager. We'll expand it a bit. and I'm going to create a new style. Click on the plus sign. My new style, first of all, has to be displayed on the default. So I'm going to click here. Can you see it's based on TY body? Why? Because my insertion point is here, and this text has got the TY body style. I need to change that and put it on normal. That will be the default style. So I'm going to call that TY subhead. I want a sans serif font. Sans serif is going to be Arial. I want the size to be 16. I want the alignment to be center. So I'm just reading this off the question paper. Enhancement, all capitals and bold. So bold. All capitals, I'm going to go to Format, Font, and choose All Caps. Click OK. There's my preview. I want single line spacing and 9-point space after the paragraphs. So go to Format, Paragraph. I want single line spacing, and after I want 9. So after the paragraph, I want a 9-point space and 0 before. Click OK. And I can take a screenshot of this because this one, it doesn't really make a difference. If I click on OK, well, actually, let's click on OK first. Look what's going to happen right now as soon as I click on OK to this first paragraph. Look at that. Because my insertion point was in that paragraph, it's actually formatted it. So I can just click here because I know it was TY body and just put it back. Okay. Now I want evidence of that subhead. So I'm going to click here, modify, and I'm going to take a quick screenshot. Go to my evidence document, and I need to close that dialog box first. There we go. And open that. So down here, I'm going to paste that picture. Yeah, I can make that a bit smaller. That's fine. You don't want to make these too small, but you don't want to make them too big. But it's better that you make them bigger than you have to rather than smaller, because you want to make sure everything is readable. Otherwise, the examiner won't be able to mark it. All right, the next style I want to create is TY table. Again, same thing. I'm going to make sure I've clicked in that first paragraph. I know the first paragraph is TY body. I'm going to add a new style. I'm going to call that TY table. TY/table. Make sure you write everything exactly the same, capital letters, small letters. I want the serif font, so it's Times New Roman, size 11. Okay. Oh, sorry, again, I need to base this on normal. Have to base this on normal. So Times New Roman, 11. And center aligned, italic, single line spacing, and no space before or after. So paragraph, just make sure that's single, no space before, no space after. Click OK. And yep, that's OK. And look at that. It's applied it to that first paragraph. So I need to change that back to TY body. Okay, so now it says take a screenshot of the TY subhead and put that in your evidence document. I've done that. Okay, number 4, display these custom style names as a list in the style manager or organizer. Take screenshot evidence to show that you've created, named, and saved these styles. Place this in your evidence document. So basically, I just need to take a quick screenshot of my, oh, now look what's happened. As soon as I click on my snipping tool there, the styles vanish. So what I'm going to do, here's my snipping tool. If you have this issue, the easiest way to do this is just put a little timer. So in your snipping tool, you've got this little stopwatch. I'm going to give it 3-second delay. So as soon as I click new, I've got 3 seconds to set up and wait. 2, 3. Now I can take my screenshot. So that 3-second delay is one way. You can use the snipping tool from Windows, but I like using the snipping tool. So let's just put that in there. Okay, click on save. So it doesn't matter what you use as long as you've got the screenshot that displays what you need. All right, so let's go back to the question paper. So we've done number 4. I don't think I've missed anything out. Right, number 5. The style TY title has already been created, stored, and applied to the title text. Okay, modify the TY title style so only the following formatting is applied. So that's the title. The style is sans serif, 32, center, bold, underline, single, and 6 points after. So let's go to that. So again, I'm going to open up my styles. I'm going to modify the TY title. And I'm just going to make sure anything which shouldn't be there is not there. So again, I'm not going to bother with the start. Which you see, this is the first one. Style is based on normal. I want that's good. TY title, the title's correct. Sans serif, I want Arial. I want 32 size. Do I have 32? Nope, so I'm just going to type that in, 32, enter. Then I want center aligned to the right. Bold and underline. Bold and underline. I'm going to get rid of the italic because it said only these. Line spacing is single. Yep, and no points before, 6 points after. So I want 6 points here. And single line spacing, nothing before. Click OK. Let's just double make sure that there isn't something extra here, which I need to get rid of. Paragraph, no. The font, does it have any of these enhancements? No, that's fine. Okay. And the easiest way to check is just to look at these things here, because this is where they're going to check that you've applied everything. Click OK. And you can see now that my title, because my title was already formatted as a TY title, it automatically changes. So there we go. That's done. So that's number 5 done. Place in your evidence document a screenshot of the style settings of your TY title to show that you have changed these. Okay, so I just need to make a quick screenshot here. TY title, modify. Yeah, that makes sense. I've changed it and they've got to see that I've made the changes. So there we go. Take all of that. And we're going to put this in our evidence document. We need to close that for the other one to come forward. There we go. And paste that there. Again, I'm going to make that just a tad smaller so it fits. Make that one a bit smaller. So there we go. Okay, and just make sure your titles are on top of each screenshot. Don't have a title on this page, for example, and the screenshot on the next page. You want your titles to accompany your screenshots. Okay, quick save, and over here, quick save on that as well. Great, let's move on. Okay, 6. Below the title, add a subtitle, draft report by, and add your name. The style name TY subtitle has already been created and stored. Apply this to the text you entered in step 6. So I'm going to do that and then give it that style. And that I'll read later. Okay, so I'm just going to go at the end of this. Let's just close that. Press enter and I'm going to type in my details. Draft report by my name. Let's give it a space as well. Oops. Okay. And now I need to select that and make that subtitle. There we go. And TY subtitle. Good. So that's been applied. That's 6 and 7. So now we can go to 8. Change the page layout so the subheading global analysis and the following text is displayed as 2 equally spaced columns, 2 centimeter spacing between columns. Then identify the 5 subheadings in the document and apply the TY subhead style on each one. Okay, so first step, we need to find that title. There it is there. So global analysis is there. So I'm just going to select a little bit of this. You can click and drag. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom, hold the shift button and click at the end. That's just going to select everything in between those 2 points. Next step, I'm going to go to layout. I'm going to go to columns, more columns. Click on 2 paragraphs and change the spacing in between to 2 centimeters. Okay. And there we go. Good stuff. There we go. So that all works out. It looks nice and neat. It's all boxed. Good. Identify the 5 subheadings in the document and apply the TY subhead style. So I need to find 5 subheadings. So I've got one there. That looks like a table. I'm not sure whether that's a title. That looks like it's in the table. I'm going to ignore that for a second. In fact, let's start from the bottom. There's 1, 2, oh, there's 1, 3, 4. Now that makes sense. So this is going to be the 5th one. That is just a title inside the table, so that's not a subheading. So I'm just going to change those now to TY subhead. Correct? Yes. So those are 5 subheadings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Don't worry about things not looking correct right now. We need to finish this and then see if everything looks normal or not. So let's go to the next part. Locate the table in the document. Sort the data in the table into descending order of length in meters. Then you're going to insert a new row between Germany and United Arab Emirates. Enter the following. And then apply the TY table style to the table. All right, so let's start from here. So first off, we're going to identify the table. Well, I found the table. It's here. Now, I need to sort this in order of length in meters. Now, I like being able to see the borders before I do anything. And I can go look at the paper and see whether I need borders or not to be displayed. But I'm going to add them anyway. And then if I don't need them, I'm going to remove them. But I need to remember to remove them. Specifically, if the paper says borders should not be displayed, then I need to remove them. If I've added borders, but it doesn't specifically say borders should not be displayed, then you won't lose marks because examiners have to mark positively. So I'm just going to use this so I can see what's going on. And there you go. That makes a bit more sense to me now. So what I'm going to do, I want to sort by length in meters. And a little trick I always do is this. Before I sort anything, I see which one's first and which one's last. So I've got Germany first and United States of America at the bottom. Why do I do this? Because I want to make sure that when it sorts this, it sorts the entire rows and it doesn't sort only the column. So it should, when these change around, the whole row switch around as well, be sorted. So I'm going to go to my table layout. And then from here, I've got the sort button. I want length in meters. And I want descending and click OK. Now, this entry is not valid. Please type or select another entry from the list. Aha, why? So I show you why. Because I've got to put header row. My first one is a header row. Okay, and it can't sort text with, it actually thought this one here, the first one, was actually data to be sorted, but it's not. I've selected that one, so I need to say the first one's a header row and click OK. There we go. And now we can see these are in descending order, and these have switched as well. So it means as these were organized, the whole row was organized as well. So that works great. So I've done that. So I've done that part. Insert a new row between Germany and United Arab Emirates and enter the following. Okay, so I need to find, so there we go. I've got United Arab Emirates and Germany. So I need a row in between those. So I can either put one on top of this one or one below that one. It's entirely up to you. So I've got Germany selected. So if I look up in my layout ribbon, I've got insert below. So I'm going to add one below. And it wants me to add China. And the value is 900. We can see that value actually is in line with the sorting, so it should be in between those two numbers, which is good. Okay. And then it says apply the TY table style to the table. So I'm just going to click on the table and go to my styles, home, TY table. There it is. Okay, let's jump over to the question paper, have a quick look. So we've done that part as well. We've added the data. Right, so make sure that no data is wrapped within the table. So I do have some wrapping there. All grid lines are displayed. So I do need those grid lines. I do need those borders. So I'm going to leave them. When printed, all borders and data fit within the column width. There is a 6-point space after the table. Okay, so let's go back. So first of all, I can see I've got text wrapping here. And I've got text wrapping up here as well. So first step is I'm just going to maximize that all the way so it takes to the margin of that column. And then I'm going to expand this one a little bit as well. Make sure I don't get any text wrapping. You can see number of yachts there just before it text wraps. And then I'm going to expand this one. There we go. And that's just made everything fit nicely. Okay, so there's no text wrapping. And is there anything else? Yes, so I need a 6-point space after the table. So it's easy. Instead of me putting a 6-point space after the table, I'm just going to click inside this column, this paragraph here, anywhere in here. And I'm going to go to paragraph. And instead of putting 6 points after the table, I'm going to put 6 points before the paragraph. And that just gives you that little gap there now. Okay, good. So let's move on. Format the first row of the table to be center aligned over the 3 columns. Okay, so one more step for the table. I need to select that. That's the first row. If I go to my layout, I can now choose the merge. Is it in layout? Let's go to table design. No, it is in layout. Oh, there it is, merge cells. So that's going to be merge and centered because it says to be center aligned over the 3 columns. Great. Okay, next part of the question is import the image SP02 yacht JPEG and place this below the subheading charters. Reflect the image so that the yacht points to the left. And then we've got to do some resizing. So let's do this part here first. So I want the charters. Here it is. So I want this to be after charters. So I'm going to click at the beginning of that paragraph there. I'm going to go to Insert, Pictures, this device. Just going to go all the way down to my desktop here, where I've got my files. There's the yacht. Right. So the first step is I want to reflect this so the boat points to the left instead of the right. So with the picture selected, we can see the picture format toolbar at the top. I'm going to click on my rotation or the rotation button there, and I'm going to go flip horizontal. And you can see just by placing your mouse over these, you can see which one is the correct one for you. Okay, so there we go. And then the question paper says, format the image so that it is resized with a width of 6 centimeters with the aspect ratio maintained. It is aligned to the left column margin and the top of the paragraph starting a Tawara yacht charter. The text wraps around the image. Okay, so first of all, sizing. So here's something that I have noticed, some questions that I've received from some of you. So when I click on the picture, I can see up here, I can change the size of the picture. And we can see my computer is set up with regional settings, and the formats of my numbers to be centimeters. Your computer might have inches here. Okay, so for me, I'm just going to put 6 here. Now, actually, escape there. I want 6 wide. And press enter. Let's say my computer was in inches though, and I want it as 6 centimeters. Then you just have to type 6 space cm. It's like me, if I want to make this 2 inches, for example, then I will just I could put 2 and speech marks, which is the symbol for inches. And look at that. It will make it 2 inches. And it may display here as centimeters, but the size is 2 inches. Okay. So just make sure you type in the units. If your units are different, just type in the units. It will work. So 6 cm. Okay. And then I want this to be wrapped. I want it to be aligned to the top. So with the picture selected, you get this little text wrapping tool here. I always like going to the ribbon though, and from here I can choose typed, and that automatically wraps the text around the picture. It's automatically aligned. Now I'm going to use the shapes just so you can see how it aligns. So if I draw a line there, you can see how it's aligned with the text on the left, and at the same time, but I'm going to do the top. So I'm going to take the top of that writing, which is there. And look at that. Now, this is a little bit buggy for me. Can you see my picture? It's just a little, you won't lose marks, but because I'm a little bit OCD, I'm just going to click on my picture and use the arrow keys just to move it down a little bit. See, if I bring it up, let's see, does that make any changes? Oh, it does, doesn't it? Okay, not that much. So I'm just going to move it down so it's precisely lined up. There you go. Actually, I've gone a bit too far. Okay, so again, you don't have to be this meticulous about it, but yeah, everything's in the details. Okay, good. It now says, spell check and proofread the document. Make sure that the table is not split over 2 columns. There are no widows or orphans. There are no blank pages. Stars are applied consistently. Spacing is consistent between all items. Now, the reason why they put stars are applied consistently is basically because of what I told you before. When you create styles and you've got your insertion point in a paragraph, after you created the style, that style is applied to the paragraph. If you don't go and change it back, you're going to have mixed styles in your document. So you need to be careful and make sure you know what style everything was before you start creating new styles. So my table is not split over 2 documents. I don't have any blank pages. I do see this though. Now, some people are going to call out and say, you left an orphan. You can, strictly speaking, this is not an orphan. Yes, it's one line, but an orphan, by definition, is when you have one or more words, say 2, 3 words, which are on the separate column. So we've got the body, everything here is in the body, okay, in that one column, the body of that paragraph is here, and then we've got that one line there. If I only had, let's say, 2 words or 3 words at the top, then I'd consider that an orphan and I would move it. But one line is not that important. I'm going to leave it because if I do try to change this, I can see it's going to knock everything out. It doesn't really matter, but the main problem is this. I was told to leave a 6-point gap after the table. If I move this down to here so that it's all nicely blocked up and everything fits like that, and I would then have to move this to come over here, they're not going to be able to see whether you've left a 6-point gap after your table. So instead of that, I'm just going to leave that like that, because strictly speaking, that is not an orphan. Okay. And a widow is, orphans are always things that are left at the end of a paragraph. So we've got the end of the paragraph hanging. If you've got the beginning of a paragraph, let's say on this side, then everything else, well, that would be the widow. But again, that is fine. I'm going to leave that. So that's it. It says save your document using the file name and the format using step 1. Print the document. So I'm just going to go to File, Save. That's it. Now I'm not going to print this, but what you should do is File, Print, Preview. When you go to print, have a look at your print preview before you print your document. Just make sure everything looks nice and neat. You know, think about paper a little bit, and then print your document. And once you've printed it, make sure it looks correct. Make sure everything's readable. That's it. Let's move on to the next part, databases. Okay, so here's a question paper. It says you're now going to prepare some reports to make sure all currency values display a currency symbol and are set to 0 decimal places. So we'll highlight that. That's important. Using a suitable database package, import the file that. Use these field names and data types. So we're going to be working with this table here. Set the yacht ID as a primary key. Save the data and place evidence in the evidence document. Place a screenshot showing the field names, data types, and primary key. So let's begin. So from my folder, I'm going to right click, new. We're going to go to Microsoft Access Database, and we're just going to give this a standard name. So I'm just going to make sure I save this in the same place as everything else. Okay, so there it is there. And I'm going to go and import this CSV file. So I'm going to go to External, New Data Source, from File, Text File. I'm going to go to Browse. I'm now going to search in the location where my files are. There's the SPO2 yachts.csv. And now we see we've only got 2 options here because there's no tables in here. And the one that we want is the one that's selected. We want to import this CSV file as a new table into our database. So we're going to click on OK. Now, I always say make sure this text is readable just in case your file is corrupt. And I did actually get a message from somebody asking me, what does a corrupt file look like? So I've done a quick search and here you go. That's what you would see. If you see something like this when you're importing here, that means your file is corrupt. Okay, but you can see this text here is actually readable. So we're going to move over to next. And now here, very important, this is going to be we're creating a new table with this data source. So the first row does contain the field names. If you don't click this, you're going to end up with something like this. If I go to next, you're going to see that the field names are field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. And we can see that the actual field names, yacht name, type, yacht ID, length, builder ID, these are actually now seen as data. Okay, so you need to make sure if you're importing a CSV file and you're creating a new table with that CSV file, then the field names, the titles of those columns should be in that first row. So first row contains field names. Let's go to next. And yeah, that all looks good. So we're going to go to our field names. I'm going to go to advanced. And this is where I'm going to set up now my field name. So it says yacht name is text. Okay, and type is short text. Yacht ID is text. Now, again, I've been asked, what do I do with these index duplicates? Okay, and this, don't worry about them. You can ignore those. Okay, I've only ever seen once, I think, in a paper, very old paper, when they say import this table, but don't include, for example, the build year, and you could just click that, and it just won't include it. Okay, when you import it, but none of these recent papers have these features, and we're going to set the primary key afterwards. So that's all okay. Length, it says here, it's number 1 decimal place. So since I need a decimal place, it has to be a double or a single. Again, the difference between a double and a single is how many decimal places you're allowed to add. If it's a single, you've got less decimal places. If it's a double, you've got more. The builder ID is text, price, numeric currency, 0 decimal places. So this has to be currency, and we're going to work with the decimal places afterwards when we're going to go to the design view. Build year, sleeps, and crew is a number. So if we have a look here, we've got the build year, sleeps, and crew. These are all numbers. Now, I'm just going to leave it as long integer. Always use long integer and always use double for decimal values and for integers. But I've been asked again, what's the difference between long integer and integer? Well, integer will only allow you to use or put numbers in the field between plus and minus 32,000. So if you try to put the value 133,000 in a field which is specified as an integer, it won't let you. The number is too big for that field. So long integers will allow you up to, I can't even remember how many numbers, but very, very, very large integers. So leave integers to be on the safe side. And yep, that's good. So I'm going to click on OK. I'll go to next. I'm going to make the yacht ID the primary key as specified. Go to next and finish. And when I click finish, I should only get one table here. All right, close. And there we go. One table, this symbol. Make sure if you get another table that says errors, that means you've specified one of the fields with the wrong data type. And if you don't know which one, you can open that table that says errors, see which field it's actually giving you a whole list of which is wrong. And then you have to delete both tables and import again from the beginning. Okay. Okay, that part's done. Let's move on. So I need my, oh, it's not done actually. Let's go back. So now I need to open this, go to home, design view, and we just need to modify these. So the length number should be 1 decimal place. So if we have a look, the length here, we've got 1 decimal, 0 decimal, 2 decimals here. So we want to make this 1 decimal place. Now to do that, I'm going to click on the length number. It's a double. I want decimal places. I'm going to make that 1. But look what happens when I go to normal view and I save that, the length, it shows in some of them 1 decimal place, some of them no decimal place, so it's not really making a difference. It's only going to work if I make the format fixed. Now, if I save that and run that, we can see that the length only has 1 decimal place. And if there's no decimal value, it will put a 0. So that's correct. The next one I wanted to do was the currency to be 0 decimal places. Now, if we have a look at our currency column here, we've got currency with 2 decimal places, that 00 there. So again, we're going to go to currency and we're going to go to decimal places and we're going to make that 1. Now, in this case, you don't need to make it fixed. You can if you want, but always test first. Don't assume things. So I'm going to make 1 change. I'm going to click on save. And now I'm going to see, and we can see now all of these are 1 decimal place. So I don't need to make it fixed. Okay, let's go back to this design view. I'm going to take a screenshot. And when I'm taking a screenshot of my table, you need to make sure that this area here shows the name. You've got the primary key and all the data types and field names are perfectly visible. Otherwise, you will not get a mark for it. We put that there. Save. Over here, let's minimize that. And now I can close that table. Anything you're not using, make sure you close it. Okay, number 19. I think I've done 18. Right, number 19. Examine the file spo2builders.csv and identify the most appropriate field to set as a primary key. Import this file as a new table in your database. Format all data types as text. Set the identified field as a primary key. Place in your evidence document a screenshot. Okay, so let's go do that one. So again, I'm going to go to external data, new data source from file, text file. I want SP2 builders. Now we can see we've got 3 options now. The reason we get 3 options is because we've got a table here. And if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to add information to this table, then I would be importing the CSV file and I will be appending the data to that table. So I won't be creating a new table, I'll be adding the data to the existing table. That's why we get this option here. But here we're creating a new table again. So I'm going to click on that one, go to browse, find my SPO2 builders and go OK. Check that this data is readable. That's good. It's the limited characters like comma. Next. First row contains field names because we're creating another table. Go to next. And now I'm going to look at my fields and see what I've got. So, I haven't actually analyzed this yet, have I? So I'm going to do that quickly. If it will let me, I'm going to show you how we analyze this because I'm supposed to decide which one's the primary key. So if I open this, I'm just going to make sure everything's readable. And I've shown you this before. So here's all my data. Now, for something to be a primary key field, then it cannot have duplicates. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all my data, go to Home ribbon, Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules. I'm going to create a new rule which is going to find all unique or duplicate values. And I want to find all values which are duplicate, and I'm going to format them to be, I don't know, make it this purpley color here, anything. Click OK, OK, and OK. So what I have now is all these columns which have got purple inside them contain data which is duplicate. So these cannot be used, not even the zip code. Can you see there's a purple here and down there? So all of these can't be used. However, this one, this one, this one, and this one doesn't have any purple, which means they only contain unique data. So which one am I going to use? Well, by common sense, by looking at this, the telephone number I'm not going to use because somebody can have the same telephone number as somebody else if they're sharing a number, or if it's a house number or an office number. The address, again, you might have 2 people with the same address. The builder name, again, could be, but the one that makes sense is this one here because it's an ID field. So common sense says it will be that one. And I know that one's unique because I can see there's no purple in this one. So I'm 100% sure I can use my builder ID and that's the correct one. So I'm going to close without saving. So I've used conditional formatting to make sure I've identified that primary key field. So let's continue with this. So I want everything to be text, 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 text. Good. Oh, telephones here, it says long integer. We're going to make it text. We never put telephone as a long integer or an integer. The reason why is because a telephone can have a 0 at the beginning or it could have a plus sign. And secondly, we will never use a telephone number in a calculation. So always put that as text. Right, so it said everything as text. Click OK. Then I'm going to go to next. I'm going to choose now here my builder ID, which I have identified as my primary key field. Next and finish. And now I have, hopefully, there you go. 2 tables. I don't have any error tables. Perfect. So now let's go back to the question paper. Only 2 marks for that. Well, there's not a lot of marks because there's a lot of work to do in this paper. So they've got to distribute these 70 marks. Create a one-to-many relationship between the builder ID fields placed in your evidence document screenshots. Now I need to do a screenshot of up here as well. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to do both of those now. So I'm going to open this, go to design view. There's nothing here for me to change. Add, make sure everything is visible. That should be. Paste that there. And now I'm going to go and create a relationship. So I can close that. I'm going to go to my database tools, relationships. Now you might see these tables if you've got the newer versions of Access it. Don't worry, ignore them. You can just scroll down. I'm going to right click to show tables. I'm going to add these two tables there. Those are just relationships that Access creates to make indexing and querying faster. I'm going to take the builder ID and drag that over the builder ID over this side because it says to create a relationship between the builder ID. Click create, and there's my relationship. Now, for my screenshot, I'm now going to double click on this. Okay, in fact, let me just show you something here. I can't use, so when I do this and I drag that over, I can't use this one as a screenshot. The reason why, it has the word create, and create means you haven't created it yet. You want the screenshot displaying that you have created it. So after you create, you can double click on that line there, which means it's created. There we go. And now I'm going to take a screenshot which shows both versions that I've created this relationship. And that is, the one version is that line there, and the other one is that bit there. So either one of these, either this one or this one is fine, but yeah, if you want to be 100% sure and make it easy for your examiner, you can put one screenshot and put both. Just make that a bit smaller, a little bit smaller. No, it's not going to fit, so I'm just going to drag my title down. There we go. Okay, good. So again, I don't want to make it too small. I want to make it easy for my examiner to read. Good. Now we're going to jump over here again. Okay, number 21, add the following as a new record in the yachts table. Now, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you how to create forms here when you don't have to. So I'm going to click on relationships, click save. So that's all saved. So when I want to add data, the easiest way, but not the correct way, is to simply double click on the table. Down here, you've got this little button here with that little sun. You can see that. Oh, let me go over here. There we go. So I basically just saved my query and closed it. So if I open this yachts table and I want to add new data, I can scroll to the bottom or click on that little sun down here, that new. That's going to take me to the very last record. You can see that little asterisk there, and you can add your data here, and that's absolutely fine. However, you may be asked to create a data entry form. So I'm going to create the data entry form, even if it's not required, just so we can make this a little bit more complete. So one way is you can just add your data here, that's fine. But for the complete tutorial, let's create a form. So yachts, I'm going to make sure that's selected. I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to go to the form wizard. I make sure that it's creating the form for the correct table. So the yachts, I'm going to add all the fields and click finish. Voila. I have a data entry form. Now, if you are asked to make a data entry form, it's going to say apply 2, 3, 4, whatever skills, features to make it user-friendly. So let's do that. So from here, I'm going to go to design view. And the first thing is I'm just going to make that title a bit longer. I'm going to get rid of that SPO2. It doesn't make any sense for me. Yachts data entry form. That's a little bit more easy to read. If I have a view, I can see these little underscores. Yeah, they're not too good. So I'm just going to rename those and just get, I can put like yacht ID and the builder ID. You could put identification number if you like. Okay, just to make it easier for someone to read. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is these text boxes here, these are very large for the data that they've got inside. Same with the money. So that can confuse people because they think, well, have I put enough here? Should I be putting more? So I'm just going to draw a box over these and then take that, make those a bit smaller, make the price a bit smaller, make it a little bit more appropriate. Have a quick look. That looks a lot better. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add buttons, and I'm going to show you something where a lot of people have some issues. So to add a button in design view, at the top, you've got this button here. Just rest your mouse and it should say button. The older versions have got like 4 X's on top of that shape. Now, if I click on that and draw a rectangle or a square, it's going to open up my form, my button wizard. Some people have been asking me, say, my wizard doesn't open when I draw a button. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. So if you click here where you've got these tools, if I click on that down arrow, you've got this here, use control wizards. If I remove that, when I draw a button, I don't get the button wizard. To fix it, I'll delete that. I'm going to click on that button, click on the use control wizard, and now when I draw a button, it works. Okay, so another little tip there for you guys. I'm going to add a go to next record button. That's a useful one for people. I'm going to put text, it's easier to read. I'm going to add another one, a go to previous record. Next, I'm going to put text on that again. Next, finish. And then I'm going to add an add new button. You don't need to add a lot, just add, just basic things. I'm going to go to record operations and add a new record. Click next. And yeah, I'm just going to put text again, finish. And there you go. I've now got a user-friendly form. I could actually align that button to be in line with these. So I'm going to click on add record and I'm going to add the information. Lex. And then it's motor. Oh, what have I typed there? Nitir instead of motor. My hands are off. Motor. And then I've got yacht ID, which is, now have a look at this. This is interesting. You can see there that the yacht ID is M capital O 126, but you may be confused. Is that an O? Is it a 0? A capital O or a 0? So what you would do, you could actually open the database and go and have a look and see what these are. Now, if you're not sure, so if I scroll down, you can see here it's got SA056. It's got 2 letters and 3 numbers. And then you've got these. So what I'm just going to click inside one of these. And if I type a 0, you can see that 0 is more oval. Delete that. If I type a capital O, you can see the O, the capital, is more circular. So this one here must be a capital O. So I'll just make sure I don't save anything which I don't need. There we go, and close that. So now I know that is actually an M capital 0 126. Length is 26. Builder ID is 31 Sanit. Price is 795,000. Build year is 2011. And then I've got sleeps 6 and then crew 3. Good, and I can just test it. I can go to previous record, next record. There you go. If I try to go to next record again, I get this blank one. That's basically the add new record. It's the last one. And if I try to go forward, well, it's going to say there aren't any other records there. Okay, good. So I've just shown you how to use the data entry form to add data, make the data entry form useful and user-friendly. We formatted it to make it user-friendly, and you should be happy if you get a question like this because you normally get some good marks for a form. So I can close that. Do you want to save? Yes. And now we go to the question paper. It now says check your data entry for errors, save the data. Right. Now we're going to create our first tabular report. Okay, select the records where build year was after 2010, length is 40 or less, contains a new field. So I'm just going to highlight some of these. So I want after that 40 or less, contains a new field called total births, which is calculated at runtime. This field will add the sleeps field to the crew field. So that's a simple addition. Shows only the field these in this order. Do not group the data. Sorts the data into ascending order of type, then descending order of length, has a page orientation of landscape, fits on a single page wide, includes that heading, has your name, center number, and candidate number in the footer. Okay, so let's begin. Now, I'm going to try and not make a mistake this time. Last time in the previous tutorial, I did actually make it greater than instead of less than, so I'll be a bit more careful this time. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to go to create query design. Now it says I want the query to be, or the report to be based on both tables. So I need to add both of these tables. If you don't have that, you simply right click, show table, double click on that one, double click on that one. And let's just expand these so everything is visible. Okay, so I'm going to start, as always, instead of from the very beginning, I'm going to start from this one here because it says shows only the fields these. So I'm going to go and add all the fields I need to add, and then I'm going to work backwards on these. How you do this is entirely up to you. So whatever works best for you. So yacht name, builder name, type. So double click yacht name, builder name, type, length, price, build year, length, price, build year, then build country and sleeps, build country and sleeps, crew and total births, crew. Now total births, if we have a look over here, that's the field that I need to create here. So that should be the sleeps field to the crew field. So we're going to add those together. So before I do anything, I make sure this works. So I'm just going to click on run. I don't get any errors. Perfect. So now I can go and create that new field at runtime. So I'm going to go over here, right click, build, and that should be the sleeps plus the crew. So I'm going to go to my database, go to my tables, and where is sleeps? Sleeps and crew is in the yachts table. So I want sleeps, double click on that, plus addition crew, and click OK. Before I make any changes, I'm going to run this, and I always say run whenever you do something. There you go, it works fine, because if something goes wrong, you know exactly what caused it to go wrong. If you do too many steps, you don't know which step caused the error. So now I'm going to change that title. I'm not going to delete that colon. Be very careful with that, and give it the title total underscore births. Now I've made a change. I'm going to run it again, make sure it works. There it is. It should be with an S. Perfect. Go back. Okay, and then it says the build year was after 2010. So now I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to rush this time. So the build year I want after 2010, so greater than 2010. Oops, 10. Let's check that. So there you go. So the build year was actually just the year, and everything there is after 2010. And then it says length is 40 or less. So let's have a look at the length. There we go. So this is just a number with a decimal. So I'm going to go to length, and I'm going to put less than equal to 40. I hope I'm doing it right. 40 or less. Right. So less than equal to 40. Let's run that. And there's my result. Good. So I've done that. So I've done that one and that one and that one. So now sorts the data into ascending order of type and then descending order of length. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do that when I actually create the report, because that way I can do both. Has a page on it. So all of these here, that one, that one, that one, that one, this is all to do with the report. Okay. So I think my query is finished. I'm just going to go to file. Let's just close the query. It's going to say save. Yes. And I'm going to, this is question 22. So Q22, click OK. And my query is gone. So now I'm going to create a report using my report wizard. I want to make sure I'm using the query 22, and I'm going to add everything. Next. Now, this is where it does, this is where you have to make a decision. Are you going to adjust where everything is going to be in the report, and you're going to see that in a minute, or are you going to keep the sorting in ascending and descending? You can't have both, unfortunately. So next, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So here I can do which table is going to be, am I going to view the data. If I click this one, you can see it's actually categorizing this and putting one table, the data of one table underneath the builder table. I don't want that because it said no grouping. So I'm going to choose the one here which shows me no grouping at all. Next, do I want to add grouping? No. If I was to add, for example, grouping by builder name, then it will have the builder name and the details underneath, but I don't want that. Next, Now, here I'm going to do my ascending and descending. If I do the ascending and descending, the sorting at this point here, then the order of my fields is going to be mixed up in my report, and I'm going to have to adjust them. That's just the way it is. If I don't do my sorting here, then it's going to keep the order of the fields, and I'm going to do the sorting afterwards. I prefer doing the sorting here because I forget to do the sorting afterwards. So ascending order of type. So I'm going to go to type, be that ascending, and then descending order of length, and make that descending. Okay, and plus you're going to see I'm going to have to do a lot of fiddling around to move everything around, but that just develops skills in case I do have to do that. I've got those skills from before. So then I want orientation is landscape. It says adjust the field width so all fields fit on a page. That doesn't really work. Next, right, preview the report, finish. Okay, and you can see now that because I've sorted in ascending order of type and descending order of length, it's put type and length first as the column. So it's actually messed up all of my my fields in the order it was. Now, if I didn't do the sorting there, then I could do the sorting here and it would have kept the field there. It just depends on what you're more comfortable doing. Personally, I'm going to forget to do the sorting afterwards. So I'll do that. So now I'm just going to shuffle everything and make sure everything's in the right order. So I want yacht name, builder name, type, length. Yacht name, builder name, and I want the type there. So I'm just going to take these. I'm just going to drag them over here. I know this looks a bit messy, but there you go. I'm going to drag that over there and then take the builder name, just the builder name, drag that over there. So I've got yacht name, builder name, type. Let's just bring that there. And then I've got my, what's that? Price, and the length is there. So let's just move these a little bit there for now. Make sure everything fits, the first one. So I've got some space there. So I'm just going to select these and make these as small or as narrow as possible, just making sure nothing is being cut off. Okay, so nothing's being cut off there. I'm going to take the builder name over now, because you're going to have to adjust these anyway. This is why I prefer getting the sorting done and getting it out the way. Just make that a little bit smaller. See if that fits. Good. Oh, no. There you go. That one's been cut off. You see, I was a little bit careless there. So you can fast forward here if you're comfortable with this, but I'm just going to do this slow. There you go. So you can see all the steps and how meticulous you have to be when you're doing this. All right, that fits everything. Good. All right, design view. Now I'm going to bring the type over. So build the name, type, and length. So I'm going to bring the type there. Make it smaller. Let's see what we've got for that text. So the type is quite small. Good. Now I want length. So I'm just going to move the price out the way a bit so I can grab that length there. Bring that there. Let's see if that fits. Length actually fits. It should be 1 decimal place anyway. It's got the title, fits in nicely. Then I've got price, build year. So we're just going to bring the price over here. I've got the build year. We need to expand that to get the title in properly. Okay, so I've got price. That fits in there. And build year, it fits. Build country, sleeps and crew. Build country. That's going to be quite small, I think. Sleeps. So build country, you want United States of America if that's in there. So that all fits. Sleeps is a bit chopped off, so I'm just going to expand that a little bit over to the left. Crew. And then total. Total births. So let's see if that's all fitted. Yep, that looks good. Nothing is being cut off from what I can see. I hope nothing's been cut off. And I can now go to back to my question paper. So again, if I've made a mistake somewhere, please call me out. Right, has a page orientation of landscape, fits on a single page, right, includes a heading. I'm just getting rid of that so I can copy it. Yachts less than 15 years old. So we'll go back and add that in now. So here's my title. Let's go to design view. Stretch that out. There we go. Yacht's less than 15 years old. And has your name, center number, and candidate number in the footer of the report. So it displays on every page. So that means the page footer. So here's my page footer here. Can you see it's there? Now, I normally just get rid of whatever garbage is in here anyway. So that's not going to help me. And does it say where? Has your name, center number, candidate number in the footer of the report? So it doesn't say where. So I'm just going to go to my report design, and I'm going to add a label. Very important you put the label. Let me show you what happens if you put a text box. If I put my details in here, I'm just going to put Migos or whatever I put in there, you can see I get that text box asking me for that parameter. So you need to make sure you use a label, not the text box. I'm going to put that on the left there. C1, 127, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now I can just preview that. There we go. Save and print your report. So I'm going to just click on save. There's my report. Okay, it's not there, it is there. And I can just print that. Control P. And in fact, does it give me a print preview? File print. Let's have a look. Print preview. So this is where you want to check and make sure everything fits on one page. You can see this is all. So this is 2 pages. It actually says, so yes, it says has to fit on a single page wide, and that's fine because it does fit on a single page wide, but it can be multiple pages long, and you need to make sure that your name is at the bottom of each of those pages. So since that's okay, you can proceed and print that. I'm not going to print. I normally print to PDF. There's just no point. So close that print preview, and I can close that report. Great. Now I can go to this next one. Okay, this next one, number 23, we've got another report we have to create. So using fields from both tables, produce a tabular report that selects only those records where the country code, just put my highlighter there, is NZ or AU. The builder name includes the text yacht. Show only the fields, these ones, and labels displayed in full. Do not group the data. Sorts the data in descending order of price. Has a page orientation of portrait. Fits on a single page wide again. Calculates the average length in this section and positions this number below the length column. Displays the average length value to 1 decimal place. Includes the heading Oceania Boat Builders. Okay, let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to start a query. Another query, create, query design. I'm going to add both tables. And now, I'm going to start from where it tells me what should be included and in the order. So what I'm going to do, it says here, shows only the yacht name, builder name, type, and length. Yacht name, builder name, type, and length. Where's the length? There. Okay, price and build country. Price and build country. Anything else? In this order with the data and labels displayed in full. Do not group the data. Okay, next. So the country code is NZ or AU. Now, before I do anything, I run this. Let's go have a look and see what the country code is. So this is the country. Now, have a look. It's got the country. It doesn't have, oh, so it hasn't asked us to include the country code. So I need the country code so that I can actually filter. So I'm going to add it. Now, I don't want this in my results, so I'm just going to click on Run. So I only want AU or NZ. So let's just do that now. I'm going to put AU or NZ. And it should recognize the OR, there you go, as an operator. So let's have a look. AU and NZ only. Then it says the builder name includes the text yacht. So there's 2 ways of doing this. Now, I always use for the builder name, and someone's actually asked me, do you need to use like? Well, like is actually there to recognize patterns with wildcards. So you can do this like star yacht and star. Now that would work perfectly well if I've done this correctly. So builder name includes the word yacht. So let's have a look. Okay, so we can see here, if I just expand that, the builder name now, all of these builder names have got yacht in there. Now, you don't have to use like. You can, if you want, just put star, yacht, star. That would also work because it's using the wildcard. So why use like? Well, like will allow you to check for other operators. Okay, so if you wanted to, and I don't want to spend too much time to make, can you see it's actually added it automatically for you. But let's say I wanted the wildcard, star, yacht, and I want a star here as well. Okay, so I could do that and it will find all the ones where they have Y and something. Doesn't have to be an A now. It could be anything. Y1, 2, 3, 4, and then the CHT. So that's where like comes in. And you can see Access will add it for you automatically anyway. Okay, so we've done that. Type length build, we've done the yacht, has a page, so fits a single page wide, average length. So the rest is part of the report. So I'm just going to click on save. This is going to be Q23. I think I've done everything there. Again, call me out if I haven't. And then I can close my query. I'm going to create now report, create report wizard. Make sure I choose the correct query, and that's why I name my queries correctly. Add everything, next. I don't want any grouping, it said, so I need to choose the one that doesn't group. I'm not going to add grouping. And it says here, descending order of price. So this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it the other way around. If I do descending order of price, then it's going to mess up my order of the fields because it's going to put the price first. This time, I'm going to do it the other way around. I'm not going to sort it now so that it keeps the order. So you can see both ways. And now I'm going to go to next. And I'm going to do the sorting afterwards. Portrait, that's what I want. And then next, and preview my report, finish. Okay, so now I'm going to close that and go to my... So again, can you see still, I still have to modify these, but my field names are in the correct order. So yacht name, builder name, type length, correct. Price, build country, and right. Now the country code I didn't want. So what do I have to do? I'm just going to close that. I'm not going to just edit it. I'm going to delete that. And there's two ways of doing this. I'm going to show you the one way. So query 23, this one here, go to design view. I can just remove that tick. And now that will not be included in my results. That will be fine. That's one way. The other way is, if you did forget, instead of doing that again, save. When I go to create my report, I don't add the country code. So I add everything and bring the country code back. Okay, it just won't include it in the report. So let's just move forward with these. I'm not going to do the sorting. Portrait, next, and then finish. Okay, so there we go. Now, what I do see though is I still have to adjust some of these because not everything is displayed. So yacht name, builder name, I need to do that a bit bigger. So I need to get the type a bit smaller. Bring that over, get that builder name a bit bigger. So make sure everything fits. Yep, and then type is okay. Length doesn't fit. So we need to make type just a little bit smaller. It's only a very small word. Let's see if that works. Okay, so they're still fiddling around with this. And let's get the price hopefully to fit. Yep. And then the build country also fits and all my titles are there. Now, you're going to say, well, how about the sorting now? I need the sorting to be, what does it say? Descending order of price. So I'm going to go to design view. Oops, home, design view. And on this here, I'm going to right click on that. And I'm going to do sort descending. There you go. Now this is easy because there's only one sorting pattern. Okay. So if I now go to that, it's now going descending order of price. And that works. So what would we do if we wanted to use this method but have multiple sorting fields like we did in the previous one? So I can go here in the report design, go to group and sort, and I can add a sort. From here, I can add a price. So I want it to from largest to smallest there. Then I can add another sort. Okay, and let's say I'm going to add the build country, and from here I can say from A to Z or Z to A, and that's it. I can now, I've got my sorting by price and then secondary sorting by build country. So you can do it this way so you can keep the order of the fields, but you just have to remember to do the sorting. I'm going to delete those. I don't want those, okay, because I've already done the sorting I want using the right click on the price, sort descending. Okay, so for the average length, I'm going to right click on the length field, not the field name, which is at the top, the field here. Right click, I'm going to go to total, and I'm going to choose average. And that's going to calculate the average length in the section and positions this number below the length column. So if I have a look now, at the bottom of that, I've got that average value there. It's at the bottom of the length column. Then I want to make sure that's formatted to 1 decimal place. So let's just have a look at that. It's already 1 decimal place, but if it wasn't, then I can just simply click on that, and in the properties over here, if that's not open, right click, properties, and I can simply make that decimal places 1 and format fixed. It's like that already because it's taken the properties from this field here. Okay, then it says add the heading Oceania Boat Builders. So I'm just going to copy that over there, put that in a larger font at the top of the page. So we can just click up here. Let's just make that big first. Delete that. There we go. Larger font. Has your name, center number, and candidate number at the top of the page. Or sorry, at the top or bottom of the report. It doesn't say anything about having a label here, saying that it's the average. Let me just check. Includes the heading. No, displays the average length value to 1 decimal place. Calculates the average length in this section and positions this number below the length column. It doesn't say anything about putting a title. That's fine. So over here, has your name, center number, and candidate number at the top or bottom of the report. Well, I'm going to put it at the bottom. It's much easier. I can put this in the page footer. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Put my label. I'm just going to, does it say where? Top or bottom only. So I'm just going to put my table there. Okay, I'm just going to select that, highlight it. And from the home, I'm just going to move this over to the right so it's nicely aligned there. There we go. Now, if I wanted to put it at the top, I will make my page header a bit bigger, move the field names down and put it at the top. Just put it in the footer. It's so much nicer. Okay, if I have a preview there, if I go to copy, Control P, no, actually not, File Print to do the preview. There we go. Everything fits 1 page wide. My details at the bottom. There's the average. And that's only 1 page. Okay, so that's nice and neat. Everything is there. So I can close that. Now we can go back and we've done that. Export the report created at step 23 in portable document format PDF. Save the exported file in your work area. Place in your evidence document a screenshot to show the exported file saved in your work area. Make sure there is evidence of the file type. Now, there's a number of ways you can do this. The easiest way is simply print it. So we can just have this report open, and then from here we can go to File, Print. And I'm going to choose my Microsoft PDF printer, click OK. And I'm just going to make sure I save this. I'm going to say report Q23. Question 23, does it say export the report created step 23 portable document format? Save this in your work area. It doesn't say a name, so I'm just going to click on save. And then from there, I can very easily open that up, take a screenshot. And then I can add that to here. That's not going to fit on 1 page. So I'm just going to move, let's give it a go. Oh, it does. There we go. Now I've just got 1 more evidence there. Okay, and I can see here that it's actually got my data type. So there's my report Q23. It's a PDF document. Presentation. So now we've got a PowerPoint. So let's get started with that. Okay, you're going to create the short presentation. All slides must have a consistent layout and formatting. Create a presentation of 6 slides using the SP2 About RTF. Unless otherwise instructed, the slides must display a title and bulleted list. Okay, so let's go back to here. I'm going to go to File, New. I'm going to create a new PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to call it my initials, NP1234. Doesn't matter what you call it. And then open that up. Let's just drag this window up. There we go. Now, I need to import the SP2 About. So I'm going to go to, from the home ribbon, New Slide, Slides from Outline, and I need to go and find my files. And I want the SP2 About. There we go. Insert. And I should have 6 slides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. And everything has got the title and the content there. All right, so we can move on. 26. Use a master slide to display only the following features. Automatic slide numbers on the top right, your name, center number, and candidate number. It doesn't say where. Your name, center number, and candidate number. Make sure that master slide items appear in the same position on every slide. No items overlap on any slide. So we're going to go to our PowerPoint. I'm going to go to View, Slide Master. I'm going to add a little text box. So first of all, you can see straight away it opens this, or it's accessing this layout at the bottom. If we want something to be applied to every slide, we need to scroll to the top and go to that parent master slide. There it is there in that tree. So we need to select this one. Then I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to choose the text box, and I want to put top right. So I'm just going to draw a little box there, not overlapping anything. And with that box there, I can now go to Insert, add my page number. Mine was this little icon here. You probably have a bigger icon. It's just that my screen is zoomed in right now. There we go, my page number. Now, as always, as soon as I make a change, I'm going to go to View, Normal View, and there's my page numbers. They work great. Good. Then it wants my name, center number, candidate number. It just doesn't say where. So I'm going to put them View, Slide Master. I'm going to put them somewhere at the bottom. So again, I'm going to go all the way to the top. I'm going to get rid of these ones at the bottom. We don't need these placeholders. I never use them. Insert. I'm going to put a text box. I'm just going to put my details down here, bottom left. And then we can go to View, Normal. Okay, and we can see that my details are there on every slide. Great. Now, it says make sure the master slide items appear on every same position on every slide. No items overlap. We're fine. So let's now go to number 27. Format slide 1 with a title slide layout with the title and subtitle text centered in the middle of the slide. So we're going to click on that first one. And from here, we're going to choose Layouts. And I'm going to choose the title slide. There we go. And these automatically align to the center. Designer pops up to give you some ideas. Don't use Designer, please. On the slide with the marketing, demote the 4 bulleted items after the text dedicated marketing manager, so they look like this. So that's nice. They've given us something here. So there we go. We want dedicated marketing. There you go. So I want that dedicated, and I want 4 bulleted items after. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These ones here, and I want to demote them. Now to do this from here, from my palette, I'm just going to move them in, and it will bring them in. But I want a different style of bullet point. Now there's different ways of doing this. You can either modify the bullet from here and choose a custom bullet numbering system. So you can choose, for example, customize and choose a dash, find the dash from here. Or what you can do is this. If you go to your slide master, go to the top, this one, choose this second level bullet. And then this one here, you can change the bullet style. And as soon as you add that bullet style, it will give the right one. So I'm just going to go to here. So you can do this either way you want. Customize. There you go. There's a dash there. Click OK. OK. And because I've modified it in the slide master, when I go to view normal, it's correct. So I can do it either directly from here or from the slide. It makes no difference. Okay, then it says, oops, undo that. So then it says, use the data in sp2 sales.csv to create a vertical bar chart to compare the sales of yachts by size for only the year 2021. Display with labels, the yacht lengths on the category axis and the number sold on the value axis. Label the chart as follows. So we've got the chart title and the X and the Y axis. Display only the values as data labels above each bar. Do not display a legend. Okay, so let's go open up the spreadsheet or the CSV file. So here we go. That's SP2 sales. Let's open that up. So I want SP2 sales to create a vertical bar chart to compare the sales of yachts by size only for 2021. Now I've got all these years here. I only want the sales, so these look like how many were sold, the size of the boats, how many were sold for each year, and then you've got the total sales. So I'm going to select all of this data. I'm going to show you the correct way to create a chart now. So we'll select all the data. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to create the bar chart. There we go. That's giving me all the data. Now I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to go to Select Data. I don't want the sales for 2016, 17, 18, 19, or 20. I only want for 21. And I don't want the total sales column either. I only want the sales for the year and just the sales, not the total. So I'm going to click on OK. There you go. Very, very easy to create a chart. Now I've done that. I'm going to add the titles that it wants. So it wants a chart title, Super Yacht Sales 2021. I want a value axis title, number sold. So I need to add my axis titles. Let's just close that properties there. So from here, I'm going to add axis titles. That one's going to be number sold. This one is going to be length in meters. That one there. No legend. So again, we're going to click on that, remove the legend. So we don't need that. There we go. And then it says display only the values as data labels above each bar. So above the bar, I want the values. So I'm going to click on add, click on data values, and there they are. Now, if you wanted something else for those data values, I could actually just now click on these, and in the properties over here, let's just get rid of that. In the properties over here, I've got all these label options I can have. Okay, inside, outside, yeah. So you can just modify those depending on what's asked. So I think that's everything. Let's have a look. So that Super Yacht Sales. Format the value axis scale to display a minimum of 0, a maximum of 150, and increments of 15. So I'm going to click on that scale there. I could right click on Format Axes. That will open the properties area there. I want the minimum to be 0, the maximum to be 120, and I want the increments, so the major increments, to be 15. Let's click away, and there we go. We can see that axis there. Place the chart to the left of the bullets on the slide with the title sales. So now I can just click away, take a screenshot of that. I could copy paste it. I don't know, just copy if you want. And I want that to go to the sales slide. So there's the sales slide. It should be on the left. So I'm just going to squish that over here and paste that there. Now you can, as I said, either copy paste it or you can take a screenshot. Nobody's going to know. There you go. And let's just make that look a little bit neater. Okay. On the slide with title Our Services, format the text Yacht Charters so that when clicked, it goes to the slide with the title Sales. So on the slide with Our Services, so let's jump over here. Our Services, that one. We want the text Yacht Charters, that one. And we want to make that a link to go to the slide with the title Sales. So to do that, you should have up here a hyperlink. So I'm going to go to Insert, link. So I'm just going to click on link. And then from here, I can go to browse, place it in this document. There you go. And now I want sales, click OK, and there we go. That's that. So when I click this, right, take a screenshot evidence. So I needed to do a screenshot of that. So if I click on my link, I'm going to do a screenshot of that. Just do new there. There's my hyperlink. I'm going to take all of that, put that as my evidence. That actually shows. There you go. That I've put the text yacht charters. It's going to go to slide 5, place in this document. So quick save. Close that. Just minimize that. Okay. And now you can jump over here. Okay, take a screenshot. All right, save the presentation, print all the slides as handouts with 2 slides to the page, each slide filling half the page. So simple, basic printing techniques. File, print. We want to print all of the slides, so print all slides. If I just wanted some of the slides, I could choose the ones from here. I don't want full page slides. I want this one here. 2 slides to a page, that one. And that's going to print 2 slides, each one taking half the page. Okay, and you will print that. Okay, printing the evidence document. Make sure that your name, center number, candidate number, blah, blah. Wow, that was a long paper, wasn't it? There was just so much there. So we had word processing, we had to create styles, we had to modify styles, we had tables that we had to modify. We had a lot going on there. Then we had databases. We had 2 queries and reports, and we had multiple sorting, ascending and descending. I also showed you how to create forms, so made this tutorial a little bit longer. Then we had presentation, PowerPoint, where we had to add links to places inside the document. We had to play with the second level bullet points, and then we also had a chart to create. So what do we take away from this? Paper 2, you have to work methodically, quickly, but methodically. Make sure you're clear about what you're doing. Don't second guess yourself, and make sure at the end of the exam, anytime you've got, take your question paper, your printouts, take the question paper and compare your printouts to the question paper to make sure everything that's in the printout or everything that's asked from the question paper is in the printouts. Apart from that, good luck with your exams. If you've learned something new, you found this interesting, or this was helpful to you, you know the drill. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you again in the next tutorial. Take care. Bye-bye.